And just before I begin, I'm not sure Mayor Carl Huck was introduced. I see him sitting over there, so thank you for joining us here today. And of course, we have our general managers who are here, Troy Fleming, Heather Cowie, John Dance, and who am I missing? Janelle here? No? No? Okay. So it's always a pleasure to have them joining us here today. So I am pleased to be here once again to give my annual State of the City address. And I'd just like to say this is my 13th State of the City. So every year when we think about what we're going to say and what we're going to talk about, it gets more and more interesting. So before I begin, and I know City Council was introduced, but I would like to have them stand because they are very much embedded within this State of the City address. So just stand and, so that you can all be recognized. So Lisa Macon, Jib Zabatoya, Patrick, Gordon Harris, and Councillor Blizzard. So thank you. It's nice to have your support. And of course, my husband's here lifting me up as well. So today, as I said, I'm honored to be delivering my 13th State of the City address. And I always enjoy this opportunity because it gives us a chance to reflect on what we have going on in this amazing community. The affordability, the amenities, the strong regional economy, and most importantly, the great people living and working here. And more great people continue to make Fort Saskatchewan their home. And people come from across Canada and indeed the world because they want to live here. We are the 3rd fastest growing city in the region and 7th fastest in Alberta, with a rate of 14.5% since the 2016 federal census, which far exceeds the provincial population growth rates of 4.8%. Now, some people may ask, I thought it was 12.1%, but I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, our city manager, Troy Fleming, he appealed the federal census because he knew that our numbers were actually higher than what they had put in. So he appealed it. Yesterday, he sent council a letter saying, yep, they acknowledged they missed 150 homes. So they probably missed a few more. So they've given us credit for another 376 people who are living here. And we know that they probably averaged that. But also know that they don't count our 500 guests that are in the correctional centers. So our numbers that would be on the sign coming in after we do our census this year will be significantly higher. So I just want to give accolades to Troy for being proactive because we knew we grew more than 88 people since our last census. So thank you, Troy. Nods his head. So let's ask ourselves, why do more people want to live here in Fort Saskatchewan? Well, for one thing, there are significant employment opportunities in Alberta's industrial heartland, and we expect even more jobs will be created in the coming years. Another is because of location. We are in an ideal position within an emerging Edmonton metropolitan region, having a mix of rural and rural lifestyles here, with close access to universities, colleges, and specialized hospitals. And we are affordable. We have the 2nd lowest residential property tax rate in the region among the urban municipalities. Thanks to people like you, we have a strong local business community that offers competitive products and services. And you continue to keep our city attractive for our residents and our vast visitor economy. And of course, our amenities. We have so much to offer people of all ages in terms of amenities, infrastructure, and experiences. And although Fort Saskatchewan has a rich history dating back to 1875, think about this, we are still not considered an old community. In fact, Fort Saskatchewan is known to be young and thriving. 50% of the city's residents are under the age of 35. Just think about that. 2 years younger than the provincial average, which bodes well for our future. And as we continue to prepare to accommodate growth, the city will need to continue to invest in new, meaningful amenities like our recreation facilities. Amenities such as the new Southport outdoor boarded rink that will open this summer in Andrew Usnick's development. And he's joining us here today. And this rink will provide for year-round recreation space that offers a variety of seasonal activities, a full change room, snowbank rink, and parking area. And it enhances our recreation facility inventory and provides for much needed amenity in the Southport subdivision. I'm always reminded of the Dak and Melnick boys who played on the pond in Southport. Just think about this. They lived in the Southport Estates, and all they had was a pond that they did their recreation playing. And now we've got 2 of them in the NHL. We've got one as the captain of the Edmonton Oilers. We've put out a lot of great hockey players in Fort Saskatchewan, and this is primarily why, because we support having the amenities and good coaches here. And of course, we are excited about the continued enhancements within our River Valley Trail Network. The River Valley and trails are one of Fort Saskatchewan's greatest assets. And recently, City Council approved the conversion of a portion of River Road from a vehicle-oriented roadway into a pedestrian-friendly trail. And this conversion will extend our trail network an additional 2 kilometers north, creating more pedestrian access to our beautiful river valley. And this was done with public engagement with our industrial partners. You know, we understand the value of having our trails, and we understand the value of how some industry has been utilizing it, but they said, you know, we want to ensure it's safe for people to walk and bike, and we fully supported, and they fully supported it. So I'd like to thank them very much for their input. So not far away from this new 2 kilometers, we're eagerly awaiting the pedestrian walking bridge, which is the final component of the Highway 15 bridge twinning project. And this is on track to be completed this summer. And we're thrilled with the opening of the new traffic bridge this past fall after years of advocacy. And I think everybody knows how much advocacy was done and how many hands had to, and people had to go in and talk to the different levels of government. So I would like to thank the provincial government for recognizing the importance of our transportation corridor. So the walking bridge, which received funding from the City of Fort Saskatchewan, Sturgeon County, and the River Valley Alliance, will allow our residents, for the very first time in history, to safely walk or bike across the river. And we are pleased that our trail network will be connected to Sturgeon County, giving our residents many new options for outdoor recreation. And this trail connection is actually going to connect to the Trans-Canada Trail and the Athabasca Trail. So the recreation opportunities are going to be limitless when you think about how far, if somebody wants to take this trail and go across and go north or go south, you know, so it's going to be really exciting. And it'll also give the residents who live on the other side of the river an opportunity to actually walk across to the fort. So in addition, we'll be moving forward with the first phase of development of the Fort Centre Park. Our goal is to again increase accessibility to the river valley through the addition of more trails, storm ponds, and stairs. It will add a desirable destination park to our downtown core. And lastly, in regards to our community amenities, we recently opened our new waste transfer eco-station as part of our commitment to sustainability. And this project was made possible through a provincial and federal funding under the Municipal Stimulus Program. The upgrade was a major overhaul of the old transfer station to better serve the needs of our growing community for the next 25 plus years. And the transfer and eco station now includes a waste scale pay system, that we heard that we needed because some people didn't think they were being charged accordingly. Please join us for a seat if you like. Yeah, jump right in and have a seat. And it will provide a paved surface, which will keep the mud off the roads, and much more room for residents to offload their waste, recycling, and organic materials. So stay tuned for the official grand opening event later this year in June. So these are some significant investments in the well-being and attractiveness of our city. But our residents and businesses don't want just a healthy, competitive community with great amenities. They want a safe community too. We have taken significant steps forward in this regard. The safety of roadways is always top of mind, such as investments in traffic calming tactics on streets that exceed our thresholds for speeding. This is in addition to the recently implemented citywide speed limit changes. And a full review was undertaken of all speed limits, and most limits were lowered to support the increased safety, with a few limits increasing where appropriate. And you will find those as you hit 119th Street going east, and also on 99th Avenue. So the one going east we really appreciate in our household because we're out there all the time. This campaign was completed efficiently, and we've received mostly positive feedback from the community. Council has also made investments this year in new firefighter positions, enhanced mobile dispatch for fire services, new intersection devices for emergency response vehicles, and extra staffing to maintain service levels for our roads team. So when you build a safe community with great amenities, you will inevitably see more people wanting to live here. And with a growing population, our city continues to have a high demand for new housing. And because housing is becoming less and less affordable, it is about being open to innovation to ensure all people have options to live in our community. In 2022, 225 new dwellings were constructed. And City Council said they were committed to building a variety of housing types that meet the needs of our community, including semi-detached housing without backyards, secondary suites, which are now permitted in most residential districts. Garage and garden suites are discretionary, and physically accessible homes, with the first being built in Fort Saskatchewan a couple years ago, and an 83-unit affordable living facility through the Heartland Housing Project, with construction currently in progress, and we're sincerely hoping that's going to open this year. It's been a very long project. So as we push ahead into the future, City Council is always working hard to support our local economy and ensure we have the best environment possible for our businesses. In April 2022, the city engaged Deloitte Canada to conduct a business survey in order to provide information on the overall economic health of our business community and identify the areas where the city could improve in these services. So I am very proud to report that the city did very well across all areas. Surveyed businesses expressed optimism for the future and saw the city as an ideal place to do business. Highlights from the survey included 88% of respondents said they would recommend this region to another business looking to expand or relocate. 97% said they were satisfied with the City of Fort Saskatchewan as a place to own and operate a business. The city's overall business health index scored 810, which was higher than the national average of 750 and the provincial average of 745. The City of Fort Saskatchewan outperformed the national average on business ratings of almost business health index subscores. We scored particularly high on satisfaction with business supports and infrastructure, historical revenues, and community recommendations. These responses not only prove the strength of our business community, but also Fort Saskatchewan is a great place to build and grow your business. To ensure we continue to support a competitive environment, we have undertaken a large-scale rewrite of our land use bylaw, and the city is committed and considering new approaches to regulating development, reducing red tape, and enhancing standards for different types of development. So now I'm going to take you on a tour of the town. So City Council continues to aggressively advance our downtown, revitalizing efforts. Since adopting our Downtown Action Plan last year, the city installed enhanced lighting, 2 beautiful murals, a parquet, and now a pergola along 102nd Street and 100th Avenue. We've activated a marketing campaign aimed to increase awareness and investment in exploring our downtown area. More enhancements are coming in 2023, including new artwork, public incentives, and a pedestrian-oriented amenities. Another goal of the action plan was to establish downtown as a desirable place to invest and develop. And in May 2022, Council approved both a brownfield tax incentive and a downtown development grant program to encourage the development of multi-unit and mixed-use residential properties in downtown, increasing the residential densities, enhancing the vibrancy of the area, and supports in our downtown business. And I can assure you, people are talking, people are looking at it, and I'm hoping by this spring we will see some ground break on some of this new development down there. Our public engagement work tells us that we want our downtown businesses to have fewer vacancies. And you want to see more coffee shops, events, and visual signage to attract more customers. We also heard suggestions about storefronts, such as less for lease signage, more art in the windows, and the desire for more incentive-based programs. So we will be discussing and prioritizing these topics in the years. Now, beyond downtown, construction of Phase 1 of the Fort Saskatchewan Common will be beginning this spring and finished by the first quarter of 2024. So this is going to be an exciting development that's going to bring several new opportunities and jobs to our city. The $270 million development is located on the green space along Highway 21, just south of Highway 15, which will comprise of nearly 300,000 square feet and provide a vibrant mix of retail, office, restaurants, cafes, and shopping spaces. So with an eye on the future, I invite all of you to attend the 2023 Supply Chain Forum, a joint event between the City of Fort Saskatchewan, Strathcona County, and Sturgeon County. So you can learn how you can work with the region's major industrial companies, build your networks, and grow your businesses. All licensed businesses will receive an email invitation from the city in the coming months. So if you're not licensed, well, sorry, you can look for it, but get your license and then you have an automatic invite. We also expect the city to start taking shape as we move into our new annexed lands on the southern end of Fort Saskatchewan. Council approved a portion of these lands for detailed planning, which is an exciting step towards seeing new development in that area. The first body of work will focus on the lands west of Highway 21 and the southern edge of the city. So now I'm going to take us from downtown and from across the highway there and talk about our tag lands. So Jason Fellman and his team, give a wave, they're joining us here today as they are heavily invested in Fort Saskatchewan's light and medium industrial lands. And if you haven't done so already, I encourage everybody to take a drive out to the tag lands to see the properties and the development that's taking place out there. And I'm very impressed with the new development that has taken place. So as you drive out there, and as I said, Wayne and I go out on 119th Street because we want to check out the development all the time. And yeah, we mostly go 80, but sometimes less so we can take pictures. The old NG Fabricom is now home to a major construction company. And if you actually go out and take a look there, the construction that's happening on that property is just amazing with the cranes out there and the equipment that's being built. Oculus Trucking built and opened a new trucking facility. The Lindy LNG facility that we did a sod turning ceremony for them, I think it was last year, and now they are actually out there doing a whole bunch of land work. So look forward to seeing that taking place. Plus there's two other major developments. Now I had to ask Jason because I didn't know if they were actually publicly announced or not, but he says he thinks enough people know out there. So he said, it's okay, you can actually announce them here today. So if you drive out there, you will see that Co-op Lumber is constructing a huge facility. And on 119th Street at the intersection will be the new Deerland equipment facility. So congratulations, Jason. Keep up the good work. And I just say it's really exciting to see the development that's happening, and we look forward to seeing a lot more happening out there. Now we're going to take a detour out to our heavy industrial zone. And now it's time to highlight some significant major industrial development activities taking place within and around Fort Saskatchewan. And our industrial areas and partners are well suited for the transition to a low carbon economy, and we have some major wins happening. For starters, 2,100 residents in Fort Saskatchewan will become the first in the province to receive fuel in their homes and businesses with a hydrogen-blended natural gas. ATCO will be delivering a 5% hydrogen blend into a portion of the city's natural gas distribution system. They're also doing a lot of construction along 86. They've purchased land there. They're doing a pilot project. And this project is going to help reduce greenhouse gas emissions produced through heating, which is vital to achieving Canada's long-term goal emission and energy goals. And we are proud that we were announced as the first in Alberta to take this step. We're still waiting for the final announcement that it's actually happening, but we know it's in good hands, and we look forward to having this take place. Our leadership in clean energy space does not stop there, though. I want to acknowledge Aurora Hydrogen. Now, is Andrew Gillis joining us here today? Are you in the room? Looking, okay. Not, but so Andrew Gillis is with Aurora Hydrogen, and they have developed a production technology that leverages existing natural gas infrastructure to produce clean hydrogen. And the hydrogen can heat homes, generate power, and fuel vehicles while reducing global CO2 emissions by over 500 million tons per year. And this is big news. This actually hasn't even hit the news yet. This is actually where we're announcing it today for them. That's why I was hoping he was going to be here. So Aurora is building a demonstration site at the Sherritt International Plant in Fort Saskatchewan. And as we all know, Sherritt was among the first industrial leaders founded here and is now incubating the next phase of our energy transition. And our city continues to be home to some of the world's largest energy players. Our openness to innovation maintains our positive position for global and energy leaders. You know, and just speaking with Aurora, they chose Fort Saskatchewan because of some of the world's largest energy players in the world that already exist here. And you'll often hear us talk about the clustering. That's the importance of clustering industry, because when they're already here, there's already so many benefits. They've had opportunity for government funding and partnerships, and they've had a strong relationship with the city of Fort Saskatchewan. And we have a lot of energy industry experts who are working and living here. So we were able to demonstrate to Aurora that Fort Saskatchewan is committed to innovation in the energy sector. And I tell you, we open them with open arms. We welcome them with open arms. Okay, Dawn, get ready. So many of us know that Dow has proposed to plan and build the world's first net zero carbon site for integrated ethane cracker and derivatives. So as I talk about this, we do have our Dow team at the back. You can't slip out this year. Stand up, Don, give a wave. So he is with Dow Canada. So anybody wanting to talk to any of these people I mentioned, these are the ones you're going to grab after. This project would triple Dow's ethylene and polyethylene capacity from the site while retrofitting the site's existing assets to a net carbon emissions. And this would create 7,000 to 8,000 jobs during peak construction and 400 to 500 full-time jobs when they are fully operational. So Dow expects this facility to produce and supply 3.2 million metric tons of low to zero carbon emitting polyethylene and ethylene derivatives, more than tripling its current capacity. This would decarbonize roughly 20% of Dow's global ethylene capacity while growing polyethylene supply by about 15%. And we look forward to your final investment decision. So as soon as that happens, we want to make sure that we're out there supporting you and cheering you on. Plains Midstream, another one of our significant heavy industrial partners, announced that they are exploring the expansion of their Fort Saskatchewan facility. And this would leverage their existing infrastructure and expand their current fractionation and storage facility. So there are many other exciting large-scale value-added energy development projects planned for the region. So there's too many to mention all of them right now, but I am going to highlight just a few more of them because I know this is always why everybody likes to come out and hear what's going on. And because this is part of the Alberta's industrial heartland region, we have Mark Plamondon. He's joining us here today, so if you have any questions or clarification asked after, he'll be the man that you want to talk to. So an announcement of solar projects by Shell and Sol Aurora within the region. The government of Alberta shortlisted 6 proposals for carbon sequestration facilities in Alberta's industrial heartland. Linde is preparing to produce liquefied natural gas as a transportation fuel, which is 40% less carbon intensive than diesel. Pembina has begun pre-sanctioning development at its Redwater complex for a new 55,000 barrel per day propane plus fractionator. Yeah, sometimes I get a little almost tongue-tied on these words, but get them through. Hydrogen Canada Corporation is evaluating a blue ammonia project to convert natural gas into 100,000 megatons per year of hydrogen. CN and Keyera Corp are exploring the creation of a high-efficiency, clean energy rail logistics terminal, and Edmonton-based Varm Energy is producing a waste-to-energy facility with integrated carbon capture, which could process 150,000 tons of waste per year and capture over 200,000 tons of carbon emissions. Interpipeline Limited, Itchu Corporation, and Energy Canada. Mark will tell us what that is later. Canada Limited plan to evaluate the development of the world-scale integrated low-carbon ammonia and methanol production facilities. And Mitsubishi Corporation and Shell Canada Limited are looking into low-carbon hydrogen production near the Shell Scotford facility for export to Japan. Suncor Energy and ATCO are in the early stages of development to produce more than 300,000 tons per year of clean hydrogen and reduce Alberta's annual CO2 emissions by over 2 million tons per year. And finally, Keyera officially began construction of the KAPS pipeline system with a planned completion date of early 2023. And this project cost is estimated to be at $1.6 billion, not million, billion. So those are big numbers. And the KAPS pipeline is a new pipeline system connecting Alberta's industrial heartland to the gas resource players in Western Alberta and Eastern BC. So does this have an impact on Fort Saskatchewan? Absolutely. It also has an impact on our partners in Strathcona County because they are also on the Alberta's Industrial Heartland Board. Mayor Frank sits with me as one of the board members. So as we talk about industrial development, we understand that when one of us is successful, we're all successful because it results in jobs, it results in spending taking place in our community, it results in our population growth. So if you think 14.5% from the last population was big, I can only imagine what it's going to be in the coming years. And I'd just like to thank Mayor Frank for being here. So yes, it does have an impact, supporting growth in our community. And while I'm talking about our industrial partners, you know, I want to give a shout out to our Heartland Challenge United Way team. I know there's some of them sitting in this room here today for all they do for our nonprofits, because there's been so many that have been benefactors. And if you've heard or not, this year it's the Fort Saskatchewan Food Bank that they're going to be out building flower or planting gardens. They're going to be doing projects out there, helping any work that they need to be done. You know, in the previous years, it was the Boys and Girls Club and the Women's Shelter in Sherwood Park. And no, we don't have a women's shelter, but we do work with Strathcona County to ensure that women who are in crisis in our community have an opportunity to go to that facility as well. So, you know, it just talks about the fact that our industrial partners, it's not just about the taxes that we all love, and thank you very much, but it's about your social responsibility that you give back to our nonprofits. So you know what? They've given so much. Let's give them a round of applause, because I know they are joining. So if you talk to Deborah from the Boys and Girls Club, she'll tell you how much time they put in there. You can talk to Connell and Cassandra about the food bank, and I don't think we have anybody here from the women's shelter, but I know each year they choose another organization. So if you know an organization that's within the heartland that is in need, you know, make sure you put an application forward. Okay, back to the script. So, economic development goes hand in hand with relationships between governments, and that's what I was talking about. The City of Fort Saskatchewan is a stakeholder in numerous organizations that are focused on the development and regional economy. We are a shareholder in Edmonton Global, which actively promotes the region to international investors that encourages opportunities in key areas like health and life sciences, energy and clean technology, food and agriculture and manufacturing. We are also a member of the Edmonton Metropolitan Board, and I'm very pleased to have our CEO, Karen Woodchuck, joining us, and Cindy. It's wonderful to have you in Fort Saskatchewan and joining us. And we have a regional plan with a review of the land use planning, transportation planning, regional agriculture to protect agriculture land and development. And as part of the Edmonton Regional Hydrogen Hub, we are looking at ways to help the region lead hydrogen adoption as a clean burning energy source. Exploration work is progressing for possible waste to energy partnerships. And I know we talk about hydrogen a lot. It's only one of the key areas that is going to reduce the carbon emissions. There's so many out there, but this is one of the newest ones, and that's the one that we're paying a lot of attention to. And we remain active partners with Alberta's Industrial Heartland, promoting continued investment in the petrochemical sector. just as we have been. Now, I've got 25 years in here. Now, Mark and I had this discussion, and he says it's kind of 24 because it actually wasn't incorporated. So we will be celebrating next year, correct? Next year is what we're going to put as our 25th anniversary. So look forward to the celebration at that point in time. So just remember, just because you start something in 1 year, if you don't get incorporated, it doesn't count for the few months that you've actually done the work. So I appreciate the partnerships we have in this region, and we will continue to collaborate with our neighbors when it's mutually beneficial to do so. Now, looking ahead at the city itself, we are on a very solid foundation. We have made smart choices, and we have been diligently focusing on priorities to ensure the best value for our residents, businesses, and industrial partners. Overall, the city is in an excellent financial position. We have had one of the lowest property tax increases in the province for 2023 at 3%, despite significant inflation and continued supply chain issues. The city's debt has dropped every year for the past 6 years, and our reserves are healthy, and we continue to put money away for the replacement of major city assets. And you may ask why that's so important. And the reason that's so important, when we put money away, what it means is when we actually build something, because we know we're putting money into a reserve, when that facility comes online, we're not going to have huge spikes in taxes. And that's really what we want to do, is ensure that we can, be a sustainable community for everybody, and that we don't have peaks and valleys when it comes to taxation. Our focus on key priorities will continue in the coming year, and some of what you can expect to hear in the next few months will include development of an urban forest protection and enhancement plan, significant studies reporting on the city's assets from our utility lines to our roads and new services required for our annexed lands, and of course, a detailed analysis and recommendations on our current recreation facility offerings. We are looking at options on how we can meet the needs of a growing population. With any major infrastructure project as a recreation facility, the outcome of this work will have significant implications on the future of our city. And the analysis of this work is being completed, and some of it has already been presented to City Council. And over the coming council meetings, we will be having further discussions. So I encourage you to stay engaged, stay tuned, provide your feedback. And I really want to thank everybody in the room who did provide their feedback on the recreation survey. I believe they said it was 1,505 people responded. So typically 425 is what they say is statistically correct. So, that is excellent when we hear those kind of numbers. So thank you to everybody who is involved. So to close my address for today, my message to you is one of optimism. We continue to put the pandemic years behind us and collectively work alongside one another to make certain Fort Saskatchewan continues to be a place to invest, a great place to work, and a great place to run a business, and a great place to live and thrive. It's also a great place to come and have your babies and keep our average age down, which that's why it's happening. And I hope you will join me today to be excited for the coming year and what it's going to bring. I want to thank everyone for coming here today. It is an absolute pleasure to be able to give you these updates and talk about what's happening in the city of Fort Saskatchewan and the industrial heartland. When you talk about the Alberta's industrial heartland, there's no other place we want heavy industrial to be than here. So thank you to everybody who has joined us here today. And as I said before, if you have specific questions regarding some of these, we have Aaron from our Economic Development, Jason from TAG, Mark from Alberta Industrial Heartland, Don from Dow Chemical, and I'm sure there's a few others that can answer questions, but feel free. I know they'd love to talk to you as well. So thank you.